close to the very best of the. If a model has poor posture, she doesn't get the first job. So let's work on that posture. The most important element of a model's posture is the way she carries her head, holds her head. There should be an awareness of the head held high. Feel that you are pushing the top of your head to the ceiling. This is vital to a queenly look. Your chin should look as if it is sitting on a shelf. I know this sounds funny, and be parallel to the floor. You should actually feel that your eyes stretch your neck, back of the ears, right out of your shoulders. If you are inclined to have a short neck, or one that's perhaps a little bit heavier, you can make it appear longer or thinner by stretching your chin and your neck until you feel tightness, and then holding it for a count of 6. It is essential to pull the neck up out of your shoulders. Don't allow her to sink your toes. This is vital to your posture. One word about posture. If you have a very bad posture, on stage,
My favorite section was the bar section.
Yeah. Why?
It was the most fun. You had the Crystal Method song, and I was kind of a raver back in. That was the most ravey song of the whole piece, and it was just like the movement was really dynamic and fun to do. And I also feel like it was kind of a grand finale, and so it seemed to get a lot of attention. We did just the bar section, for example, at the Gay and Lesbian Dance Festival later, and it was really fun. And yeah, I just feel like it had the most energy. It was really fun to do.
Were you there when we were checking for the Lesbian Gay Dance Festival?
Oh yeah, it was so hot. We on the floor, and yeah, that was crazy.
Somehow we probably ended up naked, like we always do. It was so hot. It's like, let's take our clothes off. But I remember that Marley was super hot. I'm like, wow, look at the slide on it.
Yeah. I remember it just being really, really hot. Laying on the floor, just being really hot. So I love that.
Is there anyone you found, someone you found difficult to dance with?
Difficult. I mean, sometimes I had a hard time because, you were the choreographer, so you would just kind of be like, oh, I decided to make these changes or something, and I'd be and I'm not so good at rolling with those things so quickly, I have to practice it, and I would just be like, oh no, he's changing his mind, what am I gonna do?
So
okay.
I'm the one who was
it was two things. You're the artistic director, so it's a little bit what you say, it's your work, and it's a little, maybe, I wouldn't really call it intimidating, it was just I wanted to stay involved in the and I wanted to do what you wanted us to do. It's just that I felt like I couldn't always wrap my head around what was going on sometimes. And I mean, like Arnell and Lena were so quick, like they're really fast at like picking up choreography and just rolling with it. And I had a harder time with that. So it was more in those things. And when we had our duets, it would be like, you'd be like, oh, remember we were doing this new thing? And I'd be like, oh, right, okay. I mean, you know, when it came to performance, it would be pretty, you know, set in stone by then. But like maybe 1 or 2 days before we actually, you know, the show started, it would be like, there would be a myriad of changes at times. And like I said, I'm not the best at like quickly getting and retaining choreography. I have to like do it some, you know, get it down. And I definitely think other people were better at doing that than I was. And now we have Aquafina and all that kind of stuff. And then I was watching, okay, I know I'm going on a tangent, but I'll just say one more thing and stop. But I just watched this documentary on HBO. It's like 38 Points in the Gardens in Madison Square Garden or something. It's about Jeremy Lin, how he rose to the top and he became like a bit of a role model for other Asian Americans at the time in different areas, like Hassan Minhaj and you know, a couple of reporters, somebody that actually works for ESPN as a reporter, and they all said that like his stardom actually, and the fact that he had confidence to like go for it, kind of like motivated them to also go for it, because it's not a very like, you know, it kind of like goes against some of those Asian qualities that you're supposed to have, like be, you know, like don't take all of the credit for yourself, you know, and things like that. And then it was funny because then I was watching that section in Chinese Dream where Jen was like, I am submissive and I, you know, I don't talk back, I do da-da-da, you know, like this like, I am a perfect A student or whatever, like these different things that I was like, oh, this is so great, because it was exactly what they were talking about in this documentary. It's like the same thing, but it's like her basically dancing it out, and this is like 10 years, or 20 years prior, actually. So it's like, this is really interesting.
30, 30, 30, 30, 30, 30, 30, 30, 30, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 30, 30.
Was that after Simon's Dream or Young Gods?
I think it was after Young Gods.
Okay, so it's probably Simon's, because I remember I interviewed Denise yesterday and asked, do you remember that one night we were all just club hopping with the mission and someone passed by and she hissed at them? And remember, he's like, what was that about? And Denise was like, oh, that's just someone I work with at Whole Foods.
I think she still had blue hair back then.
Oh my God, we had such a good discussion because, you know, I sort of mentioned that, like, when Denise joined, we all thought she was a lesbian. But she had that really short cropped hair. Mm-hmm. And she would always wear, like, beanies or, like, hoodies.
Oh, yeah, I remember her beanies.
Mm-hmm. And I think she remembered, like, Lana asked her, girl, are you even gay? In rehearsal. And then you, me, and Lena would always like chismes and so I'm like, oh, man, look at that big dyke. Make fun of her.
She was such a raver.
Mm-hmm. That's why she loved the bar section because of the music.
She would wear those like really baggy pants back then. She wear them.
And look at us now. We're like, oh my God, I just got my comfortable pants and my kitten heels.
I don't care anymore. I just wear this all the time.
It's my uniform.
I go to like Trader Joe's like
It's on sale.
like $2 shop. That's what we used to drink, girl.
So were you involved in the creative process? If so, did you find it engaging? If not, why?
Of course I was involved. I was in the process. I was regurgitating it all the time. I mean, yeah, of course we were all in the process, right? I mean, it was, like I said, it was spontaneous. We constantly fed off each other's energy and ideas and creativity. It's like, I mean, it boiled down to you fine-tuning everything, right? The choreography level, the placement of things, right? You came up with all that. And everything else, music, you know, right? I mean, yeah, definitely the process was there for all of us. You know, there were moments it was really challenging because sometimes we would get stuck, you know. I just remember we would throw away a lot of phrases. We would throw so much, we would just bust around and then you think that you would use it and you don't use it, right? Yeah. It's just too much material. It's like constant material was being made every time you met up. And then a lot of the times you're so how would I say it? You're so connected to that one particular movement, and then all of a sudden you're like, Jesse would be like, oh, no, we're not doing that anymore. I'm like,
I remember like there was one night during the first run, like you called me up, I was like, Jesse, I can't dance tonight. I was like, what? So then I had to, like, fortunately I remembered all the choreography. I had to do like almost every single part. I'm like, oh my God.
What happened to me then?
I don't remember. You weren't specific, but you came in the next night. It's like, oh, I'm fine. I was like, oh, that bitch lying, but.
Ooh, she's shady. Really, for one night, I was like, oh no, I can't perform tonight. I got a headache.
You're wrong.
I stayed up all night last night.
I was clubbing and I haven't really.
I was out liquid all night long.
I was doing this, you know.
I went to Valva.
To Volva? The Volva?
Remember Valva on Skylark? All those
And Dalva's still there. Skylark is still there.
And the makeout room.
I've never been to the makeout room.
I went once with Letta. Yeah, and some dude was trying to pick us up. He got all turned on because he thought we were both together. From girl action.
And just be glad Denise wasn't there. Like, she would be like, stay with my woman.
Oh, really?
I know I edited that, but I just, like, it's such a kick watching it. And that's, I cut out, there are probably, like, both interviews are 17 minutes long. There's so much I cut out, especially because I told one of the interviews, I'm gonna have to redact so much of this because you're talking so much trash about people. So at some point I'll put out the unfiltered version because it is hilarious. But yeah, just like watching these people talk and watching these huge projections of us dancing is daunting. I'm like, oh my God, look at me when I was 30 and had long, like luxurious hair. I'm like, what happened to that Jesse? Oh, that's right, he's 54. Yeah, but again, just some more backstory, because that's kind of what this piece is about. It's about giving the full experience, because you get to hear some of the dancers talk about what it was like to be in process, which is hilarious that both of them mentioned that, oh, Jesse was the one we had the most difficulty working with because of this. And I would like to think that I've changed a little, that I've improved, but probably not so much, right?
A little. Maybe by the time you're 64.
But yeah, like this piece, this will be 1, 2, 3. Is it the 4th iteration or the 5th? This is the 5th one. Dancers in the audience, especially the one dancer here, has done almost every single iteration. So has it been 3? Oh, our memory is slipping. So we did it once at ODC. We did it again at ODC, and then we did it at Highway. So this is the 4th iteration. Yeah. So like, amazing. You would have, if you had been able to dance, you would have been in the 4th. You would have been the only dancer to do every single version of this piece. But I mean, like, this just sort of gets me thinking about things like history, legacy, community. And no one talks of legacy anymore. Like, you really don't hear that. But I think about it a lot at my age, like, that I have legacy and that, like, I have these touchstones. I made this piece right after I divorced my first husband. It was sort of a present to myself. And sort of a marker, like, I survived my divorce. And the entire company had left. They're like, we can't take your drama. So they all left. One person stayed and basically helped me recruit a brand new company, with the exception of one who stalked me because they worked at the bank that the company had a bank account at, and I had gone to make a deposit, and all of a sudden there was this face in line, and they're like, "Hey, you're the director of Steamroller, aren't you?" I'm like, "Yes." And that's sort of where our friendship began, and pretty soon after they joined the company. If you want to know more about that, there'll be a Q&A after the performance where the tea will be spilled. But yeah, like somewhere along the line, like I think in the second or actually both the second and third iterations, I had developed a horrible drug problem. I was hooked on crystal meth. I would show up to rehearsal, not high, but kind of high. So I apologize for the dancers who were in those rehearsals and who had to perform with me. I'm sure I probably thought, oh, I'm a functional act. I can do this. So my apologies. I really ask for your forgiveness because that was a terrible thing, and I hope I don't do stuff like that now. Again.
I mean, you're not on that anymore. So.
Thank you.
Right?
Someone's like, I think he's sober.
But you're still a mess.
But yeah, I love that the company's been around for 30 years. Amazing. But that, like, so much of what makes this company so idiosyncratic, like what makes this company what it is, are the people it draws and sort of the sort of environment I cultivate. Like, obviously the dancers I have right now don't feel anything about like throwing their 2 cents in the middle of something, even when I don't ask. But I mean, that's fine. I love that they have ownership, that they feel that they're part of the process, as both interviewers spoke about. Like, yeah, I was part of the process. In fact, I was the process, I believe, were some of the exact words. But I love that like the dancers can walk in and like, if they feel like, I'm not doing that because that A, looks dangerous, and I want to keep dancing, and 2, I just don't, I think that's the wrong choice, and we'll talk about it. I love that. It makes me so happy that that's sort of artistic process that I have, and that those are the kind of artists that I attract. Let's see, is that all the tea I want to spill about the creations of this piece? Like, I love Andrew's curtain speech. Like, oh, this was done when I was a director at ODC when it was less corporate. Oh, oops. It's like, Andrew, I feel you. And I love that things like this exist where it's, you know, like I can sort of just jump in and like, oh my God, no, and I don't have to jump through so many hoops. I just kind of have to show up and, you know, do my thing. I love that. And it took a lot to get to this point where I'm on stage right now. I had so many dancers drop out. I had so much trouble getting dancers. This one over here, like in the middle of the rehearsal process, like, hey, by the way, I'm competing in International Mr. Leather. I'll be gone for a week. And then when I get back, I'll need a week to recover. I'm like, okay, fine. Janesta and I will continue to work. And that one over there, when I started teaching the section, like every other word is like, fuck you, I hate you. Why do you hate me? I'm like, girl, look. But obviously not so much at the time. But yeah, I love that. Like, I don't feel like I'm that sort of Balanchine-esque, like Martha Graham, like authoritarian. Like, no, you do exactly what I say. Like these people talk back to me all the time. And I think, like, along the way, the company members have always talked back to me, and they're like, yeah, no, that's effed up. No, we won't be doing that. Let's discuss an alternative. So I love that it's not run that way. That the dancers have as much authorship, not as much, but you know, they do have. What is the word? Agency. Thank you. That they have agency in the process, and they can step in and say, hey, no, Jesse, that's wrong. I've had people like, I've given them a piece of text, I want to read this in the performance, and they said, I'm not reading that because it's offensive. I was like, okay, fine. And obviously, I will jump in. Like, when someone calls me the night, like after the open, like, I can't dance. I think I injured myself. What happens? Jesse has to step in. I mean, fortunately, I'm on it, but damn, like, that was harsh. Like, I had to like basically pull, and like I'm not like that anymore. Like, I need lots of time to learn things. Fortunately, most of this stuff is still in my body. But oh my God, if I had to do the bar section, yikes. So that's why I only showed that, just a little smidgen. But yeah, I think I've talked enough because there'll be more talking in a little bit. So why don't we move on, Colin?
All right, guys. Supermodel, you better work, work. All right, goddammit. I have one thing to say. You better work.
Not a lap dance.
Part of the choreography.
Man, this piece should be called Tired Old Gods. So anyway, like I've told you my story, but I kind of introduce both Janesta and Luis, and to ask them, what was your experience? Like, how did you experience, especially since you stepped in, you learned choreography, but you modified a lot of it.
So, to the dancers that dance this, like in the past, I want to let you know I only had 3 weeks to pick up choreography, so be nice to me.
You were beautiful.
Thank you. Yeah, I think like it was a really good challenge. I actually haven't danced for another company in almost like 7 years, so I was really excited but also nervous because like I hadn't like worked in this way in a really long time. But I feel like Steamroller provided a very gentle me and my aging body to work and like figure out what my limitations are, but also to like meet myself where I was at. So.
Aging body, how old are you?
I am 34. I will be 35 happily in like two weeks.
And how old are you?
You know, I'm 49.
Lies.
You're not 49.
I try to take care of myself.
I was gonna say, if you're 49, you look pretty cool.
Oh, wow. I know I just dance, but it's shady.
I know. Now that we finished the piece, he's like, I'm just gonna say whatever I
exactly.
want. Do you need it anymore?
I don't need
Like,
you.
put up with enough of your
What was your experience like?
So, just kind of going back, this is the third time I've danced with Jesse, and the first time I was straight up on crutches, and throughout that process, by opening night, I was like sort of off of them, and then yeah, we're doing shit that 22-year-olds do, so it's hard, and I already have like this knee only does so much still, and then now I have this like wrist thing that happened like the opening night, and this back inflammation thing. So I was already modifying it before, and what, you know, a somersault turned into this. Oh God! Things like that, you know, like. The concept of the piece is old dancers, so there's some comfort in that, not being able to do everything full out.
Is it really about old dancers?
That's what I thought.
I like old, like,
Broken dancers?
well seasoned, extremely experienced dancer.
Well, no, I mean, because I think about that, being a dancer in their 50s. I think about that because everyone I work with is half my age, and it's like, honey, if you call me daddy, I can literally be your daddy. This is.
You can literally be my dad.
Exactly. But I mean, that's just, it blows my mind that I am dancing with people who could be my children. I mean, it doesn't matter how old they are always my children. It's like, oh, what is it now? Like, oh, you need money, right? You need someone to listen to your problems. Yes, mommy's here. I do it.
You know, as hard as it is to be an aging dancer, and I didn't think I would feel like an aging dancer at 37, actually not 49, 37. It happened so fast, but I also think back like high school dancing and college dancing, and like I would say over 80% of the people I dance with in college have just stopped. Because it's hard, it's really hard, you know, so at least here we are.
Yeah, to still be dancing is a blessing, honestly. To be able to is a blessing.
I think that's a great place to stop.
Oh.
Yeah.
So we'll be moving into the Q&A, but thank you so much for coming.
Oh yes, thank you, our amazing technicians.
Thank you for coming to the San Francisco International Arts Festival, Joke and Annex, and yeah.
Yeah, let's go.
Yeah, okay, we'll do a Q&A, like 10 minutes. If anyone wants to stick around, please do, and if not, we still love you, and have a wonderful night. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Stay if you want me to spill the tea.
Oh, God.